On Rotherhithe Street.
Have you lived there long?
Only since September.
Did you know the area before?
Yes, we lived in Surrey Quays beforehand.
Do you know this area when it was a working docks?
No, not that long.
What do you know about the history of this area?
I know that it used to be a working docks, that it's the government put some money into trying to redevelop it a few years ago, and now it's built up. I don't know that much about it.
What do you think of the redevelopment?
It's a bit soulless, but all right. It's there's not enough shops or restaurants. Some of the buildings seem a bit cobbled together, but I think it's not a bad effort. And so these bits are quite nice. Keeping the water and the bits of dock, I think, was a nice idea.
Right.
Okay, that's it.
Thanks. Would you like to have a couple of words?
No, won't. What are you doing these for? Is it?
It's with the... Can we ask you a couple of questions, please?
Alright, you stay there. Down a bit.
Do you live in this area?
I do actually, yes.
Where do you live?
Just about half a mile on the road there.
Did you know this area when it was a working docks?
No, it was before my time actually. I did work down into War Estates, but I think by then the docks had shut down. What do you have around here? The lead mills, Vitex, wasn't it? Timber mills.
Do you think what's happened with the docks is better for the area?
Well, the docks was finished really, wasn't it? The big container ships were stopping down at Gravesend, weren't they? They weren't coming up the Thames, you know. And Surrey Canal, I mean, went to Croydon, finished, didn't it? But there's nothing here. I said it wasn't economic, was it really? And they just shut it down, let it go, didn't they?
So it was progress, inevitable.
I wouldn't say inevitable progress. It wasn't progress, it was a retrograde step really, but it was the way of the world, wasn't it? I mean, the dockers, I mean, they were on strike and so on. And it was got over by having containers, wasn't it? Containers were brought in, offloaded off the decks onto the back of lorries.
Do you think that the dockers was their own worst enemies?
Could have been, yeah, you could say that really.
Why?
Well, they were on strike, I mean, people bringing up ships, you can't get them unloaded. What have you got, Felixstowe? Private dock, is that a private dock? Great, you know, I mean, I'm not really a docker, I don't really know much about docks, but I mean, the containers, they got over the handling of material, wasn't it? All sealed up, custom sealed, taken off the deck or the hold of the ship, on the back of a lorry, driven away. Spirits, beer, wine, got bonded warehouse, whatever, you know. And that was a progressive progression on mechanical, you know, physical handling, really, wasn't it? And if that's what the people wanted, it kept the cost of the goods down, I suppose, didn't it, really? And that was a progress. But
okay. Thanks very much.
oh yeah, well,
Thanks.
yeah, good answers.
Yeah, we use that.
What do you think actually Vauxhall Bridge there? There was Rank McDougall Ovis, isn't it? Remember it? Vauxhall Bridge?
No, I can't remember.
Yeah. And you know, on the north, let's go right from my south side over to Vauxhall, on the left there. I never remember it. But it was shut down and big apartments built up, wasn't it?
More or less what they've done around here. With the all the river frontage anyway.
The shame thing about it is that a lot of the old buildings they pulled down, didn't they?
Yeah. Still got some.
Yeah.
some are beyond repair.
Again, what's that engine? That's the like cap for instant light reading, is it? That white one?
Sorry, mate?
The white cap for instant light reading.
No, it's
Well, it does give you that reading, you're right, yeah.
look at the white
Yeah.
balance.
Yeah.
It's really just a
Good,
lens cap.
good in auto light. Adjusts itself.
It's real bit.
Right, you can follow the canal around, into the shops.
Where's the Russian yard?
Russian dog. If you go up there, go round there, or cut through there, go up to the Slade Hill. There's a centre Russian dog. Yeah. If you come round there and go to the right, you see like the old toad park, on the ground, that like points of compass. Just Calcutta, Russia, you know, all the goods, lard, tallow, you know, cinnamon, and you know, spice.
Well, we're going to drive now.
Oh, yeah, well, I don't know about driving, it's just walking.
Well, with parks, we're already walking. John, can you just tell us a little bit of the history of the farm, how it developed, why it developed?
Right, well, it started in 1975, which is probably about 5 years after the docks were closed. It was Hilary Peters and Ken Bushnell. They were landscape gardeners. They were working up near the Tower of London there, and they had a business. And there was nothing being done with the docks at all, really. There was a few odd things here and there, but nothing really. It was all derelict. And so there was this piece of land, 1.5 acres, between the docks and the river, and the buildings were vandalised and wrecked. And so she got a lease, a short lease, a year-by-year lease on the building, and brought some goats on. She already had some goats, and that's really how it developed. It started off as sort of individual initiative. You know, they were doing it. They didn't get grants or anything else like that in those days. They did it because they believed in it and they wanted to milk goats and things like that. And other people came in to help like that, really. And then over the years, it's developed. And well, Hilary Peters it still is quite a dynamic sort of person. She's always going out, getting things done. You know, she's one of those doers in life, really. And she developed it. She started. We got grants from the Inner London Education Authority for an education worker, a teacher, and it grew and grew, and got money from Southwark Council first of all. Then the London Docklands Development Corporation gave a bit of money, and here we are now. We're
You still on 1.5 acres?
No. In 1986, we had to move from that site to this site, which is bigger and better site, though we were very attached and sentimental about the old place. But we had to move because by then, because of redevelopment, the land had become worth something. Of course, when Hilary started, it was not worth anything, and there wasn't a London Docklands Development Corporation at all. And the farm was one of the first things to actually start redeveloping the docks. It was just left, and so we were the first sort of development corporation, first couple of people. And then when they came along, of course, then they had big ideas, and where the farm was is now luxury flats, and it was an important place, it was an important site, so they wanted us out, and well, they had to deal with us really. Although we didn't have a long lease, we couldn't really have put up a fight like legally or anything like that. We had community support, and you know, they knew that they couldn't afford to you know, that sort of fight, because we would have stayed, we would have locked the gates, we would have done that sort of thing. But it never got to that stage, because they recognised that we could be useful for them as well. You know, their way of, they could spend some of their money on something like this and look good, which they needed to, because they were unpopular. And so this is what we've got here. They spent £300,000 on doing this. That was in 1985-86, doing this site, building some of the buildings on this. But when we moved in, well, we still had to put the fencing on. We had to buy topsoil. You know, it was basically buildings just in a lump of mud, really. So yet again, here we've developed this site. You know, it wasn't just put down like this in 1986. We've done that, and we've developed it and built it up bit by bit. Which at first we thought, well, we sort of imagined it was all going to be done for us, and it seemed really good. But actually looking back, I think it's really good that it wasn't done like that, and we could do it bit by bit, because then you can change things as you go along, and people can join in and do different things. So yeah, anyway, here we are, lots more things.
Who else run the place? Is it voluntary, local?
No, it is partly that. There's an organisation, the Noisy Geese. Sorry, you won't be able to hear what I'm saying. They can see Steve, who's one of our regular visitors, coming with bread. So they're shouting about it. Yeah, well, Steve is one of our regular visitors. We have lots of local people come in and volunteer, children, young people, adults. Yeah, but there are paid workers here now, which at the beginning there weren't. And people who were on the farm went and worked somewhere else, and then came and did the farm work. Now we're paid. We have a teacher here; she's paid. We have 2 projects for adults with learning difficulties. So the trainers for them, they're paid. I'm paid. I'm standing here. I'm getting paid for this. So there's other farm workers. You do really need paid people because you know, volunteers, they come in, they do a lot, but then maybe they drop out, they get a job or something like that, and you can't run something like this without a continuity. You know, you can't just have it that there's nobody here to feed the animals one morning, because you know, you've got to have continuity. You've got to have people, so that you do that by paying people, really.
What animals do you have here now?
Yeah, we've got a herd of goats. We milk the goats, do milk, cheese from them. We've got, I mean, it's only a small herd of goats, I say 10 milking goats. We've got sheep. We've got 8 sheep. We've got 4 cows. We got 3 big pigs for breeding, and 10 piglets, who are quite big now. It is important to say it's a farm, so the piglets are going to going to slaughter, I should say, next week. So it is 5. It's not a zoo, and it's not a pets place, really. You know, the animals aren't pets. The cute little goat kids, which you may get to see in the yard, I mean, they're cute now, but when they are getting older, they will go to slaughter, and they will go for meat. And I think that's part of what we do here, is tell people that this is what life is about. I mean, you know, if you're a meat eater, this is what happens. You know, you've got to accept it. A cute little goat kid, and you eat it. That's that's how it is, really.
What are your what are your feelings on the closure of the docks and what's happened since?
Well, I mean, I first came here and the docks were gone and were closed. So what do I feel about that? So I don't really have strong feelings, because I was never around here when the docks were there. But what I do know from the people who who were living around here when the farm started and when I first came in 1981, that there's a very strong community around here. In fact, when I came and when the farm first started, nobody wanted to live around here. There was only isolated bits of council housing, which ex-dock workers and their families were living in, but nobody wanted to move down here because it was just like a desert. You were cut off from everywhere else. There were only one or two shops. There was nothing, but they had a very strong feeling of community, of identity, much more I think than anywhere else in London, because there's people round here who they look at their grandfathers. You know, people my age were talking about their grandfathers, not just their fathers who'd worked on the docks, and that's going back quite a way. That is, and very different from most bits of London where people don't have that. And I think they felt they really identified with this area. They loved it, and they were insular. They didn't really welcome outsiders. You know, unless your father had worked on the docks, you weren't welcome. You know, it wasn't a matter of being around here for 10, 20 years. You know, they looked to see whether your family had been around here and their families had married together and so on like that. And it's completely changed now. There's still those people here, but they've been completely overwhelmed because there's a whole lot more houses. It's utter difference since I've been here. There's more council housing, well, housing association housing they call it. There's more rich, smart flats along the river, which was again unheard of when I came here. Nobody would have imagined that. It was just ridiculous to imagine that. Our first site was unrentable, unusable. You know, it was a peppercorn rent. This site here, people have this, where we are now, 2 acres, riverside site. Some people have said to me, £1 million it's worth, £2 million. I have no idea. You know, some developer, they could get it and put up houses, you know, or smart flats on it. It would be worth in that sort. I have no idea really, because who knows, I'm not a property developer, but you're talking that sort of thing, fantastic amounts of money it's worth, and it's completely changed. Sorry.
That's great, John.
Yeah, sorry.
Great stuff there. And there's some really interesting stuff
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Can we take a few shots around the farm?
Yes,
Yeah?
you can go in the farmyard. The goats and everything are all friendly, unless you're carrying a plastic bag that looks like Tesco's and it's got food in it. They won't bother you. They might come up and sniff round you,
Yeah.
but anyway, they're only looking for food. If they can't eat, then they're not interested.
Okay, thanks very much.
There's goat kits in the farmyard. Look out for them. They're less than a week old.
Where do we go, through here or
Yeah,
around
they're
the...
through here, and they're very, you know,
Yeah.
well, there were more people, more children, and now there seems to be no children in the yard still. That's always good, isn't it?
And can you... Is the cafe open?
The cafe's open.
Oh.
Well, it's
And can you say you sell the cheese and eggs and milk and all that?
yes, we have. Yes, we do. We don't have any milk. No, we don't have any because they're just kidding, and so they dry out a bit before the goats kid. So there's no milk at the moment. But then soon, as soon as a reasonable number of kids, then you can get the milk. We have bees, so we have honey as well.
Yeah.
This is the classroom there. It's worth looking inside the classroom. There's sort of good sort of art sort of willow tree sort of things, which are cool. back of this house there's pigs. Those two which are inside there, don't go in there, those are the billy goats and it's a ram, so they do. Well, a ram is a sheep, yes. They do. They're not nasty really, but they are strong. They just do, yes. The goats have a lot of personality.
We've got all the just use these visuals to drop in on your sound.
Yes. Well, if you want me to, if you've done that, if you want me to speak again, then you do. Or, you know, or that person on the phone up and make sure. I'm here on weekends. Or Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, okay. Right, okay. Good.
Thank you. Yeah. Inside here.
Look at that one, that's the one. The
I
old
haven't got
Tory
any more
door.
ones. Big ugly thing.
It's always a good, because that is the epitome of the development. That was docks over there. That was the Isle of Dogs dock, Millwall docks. shot of 2 cows here, sort of playing, Andrew. No, they're sort of headbutting each other.
You watch that stop when I get the camera set up. Oh, I love the close up of the cow house. Just what we want. Fight your horse.
Side on, back that side. I want to get over that side and film this side.
Yeah. you the hook.
Just a few seconds. A steady one of this where there's like 3 or 4 bits crossing.
You happy with that?
Come from South Bermondsey, my people, right now. But in the war, I stayed in the war, and then we moved out. Like, I mean, that's a fact. My mum and dad, I was both sides of the old Kent Road. She's cutting the elephant, the old man cutting Bermondsey, and when he started drinking, I find myself over there or back this way. It's very dodgy old childhood I had. Then they moved out to Downham then. Eventually got out to get away from the pubs really. I mean, then we moved out to Downham.
We're not been away no pubs down in Downham Tavern.
The tavern, yeah, I know.
Enough, isn't it?
I know the tavern, yeah. And most of the people out there come from Bermondsey and Stepney. A lot of people moved out.
It was like the Overspill, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, they got out, the old man, like, I mean, he moved out. The old lady said, we don't move to here, like, because you used to live in the pubs. You used to live in the Duke of Suffolk, Norton Road, you know what I mean?
I really don't know, now they've just done it up in the 3 flats.
They tell me it's all gone in it, Suffolk, yeah.
It's there, they've got the thing, but they've just turned it into...
Oh, the flats, God, my man lived and died
Crystal's
in
it like one of these nutty religious places. No, hallelujah.
I started with Tommy and Patsy used to use it, and Jimmy Marshall, they used to use that, and Joey Fitz was a barman there.
Yeah.
Joey Fitzgerald, our old top hand, he was a barman
was
there.
he? Used to live round just round the back of Crystal.
Joey, yeah, I know, Vicky Lovegrove, all that crowd. Like. Yeah? Yeah, Joey Fitz, yeah. He used to be top hand of our gang, like, you know.
Yeah.
Louis Jones, all gone now. It's only Jimmy, still gets in the Surrey Docks, Jimmy.
Is he?
I nearly fucking ran him over the other day. Cody's got across to the Warrior. I pulled up in the middle of the road, where are you going, you silly old bastard? He said, what a bit of art. I said, I've got this, like Jim, otherwise I'd, yeah mate, all grey, the old snow's on the roof now.
That's changed its name, isn't it? The Warrior now.
Well, that used to be Mabel's Coffee House. Where your mum and dad lived, the Warrior used to be there. Where Kath lived,
The block was.
where you live, opposite Cope Street. Yeah. That was Thingley. That was the Surrey Docks. That was the old Warrior there.
Yeah.
And they moved up like. Charlie Murray had it.
I remember the old pub because I think he had 2 sons and one of them used to be in my class.
But Charlie, he got killed in Oz, funny enough. He went to Australia, 36 when he died, Charlie. Yeah. He had the blue coat boy over here. He went left there, then he went to the blue coat boy.
Here's the one that had the 2 sons, because I remember they moved and they come to
Yeah.
Get the kid's name
there. Yeah, then they went to Oz and Charlie got killed. Road accident. At Melbourne, I think it was, somewhere near Melbourne.
Because they drive on the upside of the road, I suppose.
That's what they're fucking crazy, I don't know if it was, isn't it? So where Fosters they get down.
That won't work. It might be better out here, the Fosters over here, or we get 2 bob for. Shall we start?
Yeah, mate.
Alright, mate, how long did you work in the docks?
1952 to 1987.
What docks did you work in?
Royal Group. I worked them all at some time, I was based in the Royal Group. Worked as stevedore there, I mean 1700 stevedores there at that time. 9,000 men, 1700 stevedores, the rest was dockers like, I mean, not Dilport, corn porters and dockers like.
What's the difference between stevedores and dockers?
Spanish word means to stow. Stevedore balances ships. The docker loads them or unloads them, but stevedores was up to 1964. You had what they call ballasted ships, where you had to put ballast in them. After 64, they started building ships with water in them. So you pump 250 tonne of water there or oil. You balance the ships on compensating pumps. So when that come in, the stevedores wasn't wanted because we used to balance the ship from the bottom upwards, all the ports. If you had 1,000 tonne of port, say you had 5,000 tonne of put in ship, 5 ports, they make it simple. You used to put, say, 500 tonne at the bottom, the first port, the last port out, you know what I mean, right at the bottom, 200 tonne in, say, each in the deck, so 200 on the other side, 400 tonne there, and 100 tonne in the top deck. So she was, when she left each port, she was balanced for sea. That's a stevedore. Esteva. Spanish word means to stow. That's where it comes from, Esteva.
So, would it be right in saying they was more trained or skilled than dockers?
Yeah, in some ways, yeah. Matter of tradition, like, you know, handed down, father to son, your grandfathers, all this, like, it's a matter of pride, really, with stevedores. Different types. I mean, there's lots of good dockers, you know what I mean? I know tons of good dockers. But stevedores especially, the top stevedore gangs was brilliant. I was lucky enough to be in the top stevedore gang over where I was. 1,700 stevedores and I was in the top gang. Ben Jones, Louis Jones's gang.
Does that mean they get the best work, they get asked?
Oh no, do it more, Mike. Do more work. We used to, when we worked on a ship like, we'd do anything and we'd do it faster and better than anybody else. That was a whiz mob. All fun, that were all Bermondsey boys basically. My lot, Tommy Wheeler, Yossel Connell come out of Jamaica Road. And Mari still lives there, Yossel. Tommy Wheeler, Charlie Wheeler's kissing the Surrey Docks, his brother Tommy. I think he's in bed help now, Tommy. Kenny Wyborn, Charlie Wyborn, worked at Surrey. There's all Surrey Docks, Jimmy Marshall, Joey Fitz, myself, all come out of Bermondsey. Lenny Tibbles, then a few boys come over the water, the Burnses. Big family called the Burnses, they're all stevedores, tutters, you know what I mean? Fighters, all there's Mob Andy, the Burns is one of the biggest families in Stepney, you know what I mean? Poplar, one branch from Bobby Burns and all them, they work with us, like. Burns, Johnny Burns, a good stevedore, Blondie Johnny. Got a pub up to Padette Road, they tell me now. Got to go and see him now sometime. They give me a bollock, you know, I'll go and see him. I mean, I see him for ages. And, you know what I mean, like, he's a good boy, John, good friend of mine.
Did you go to the Royals after the Surrey? That's where you started in Royals?
No, I started in the Royals. Well, my family all worked in the Surrey. And my brother, the old man, my cousins, my uncles, all worked in the Surrey. When I got my brief, stevedore's brief, I worked as a gear boy. When I left school, 1952, I went in there as a gear boy, splicing wires into Maltese. And at that time, like, when I went 18, I went in the Navy, and I come out and got me stevedore's ticket, and I asked you, where do you want to go? Well, I've been a gear boy in the Royal Group. You know what I mean? So I decided to go in the Royal Group at that time, like, you know what I mean? So, you know, because I knew all the stevedores, actually, I went straight to work. I worked with a good gang like at that time. Yeah.
How many years did you work in the Surrey? Was it just...
I know, on and off. Got allocated there at times, but on and off, like. And when you got allocated over there for a day's work, you was continuity. Like, you got allocated to a timber ship over there, stevedores, you couldn't leave the ship till the ship was finished. I was allocated to Millwall, the West India Dock, but mainly the Surrey, Millwall for a ship. Then you go back to your own sector. Got your book back, and you went back to your own sector. But stevedores, the difference between dockers and stevedores was we want to work on our ticket, and they want to work on their book. They had a national label book, and we had a ticket, and we want to work on that. We didn't recognise the book, stevedores. We want to have an up-to-date ticket, and on the call, you had a line down there called 1700 stevedores, and if you stepped over the line, you didn't go work. They call that soliciting work. Put your foot on the line. You don't go work day, brother, pick up somebody else. Outdoor delegate there, down early. And he used to say, oh, you're not going to work day, brother. Step out, and step forward, take his job. Because that was called soliciting. In other words, arse licking. Do you want me today, you know what I mean?
Would that have happened where they called on at the NSA of the Surrey, the bus shelter, Rotherhithe Road?
Rotherhithe, yeah, that happened there and all.
What was the routine at the bus shelter?
Same thing, the line, like, it wasn't, I don't know if it was painted in late years, but you had a line in the road. You know what I mean? Your grandfather went there, you know what I mean? of old man Donovan, he brought my father. My dad was the outdoor delegate there. He was at Stevedores Union, you know what I mean? But they had a line there, and you didn't step over until he was called. You know, they say Billy, Tommy, Harry, Jimmy, you know what I mean? You wouldn't step forward till he was called. Stevedores Farm had tallies, and they give you one, give you a tally. And he counted the tally, you give them back to him as you step over. You know what I mean? You go, here, in the art of the call, you give them back to him. You had tallies. Some didn't bother with tallies, the majority of them had tallies. And you didn't walk off the call light. So you wanted 13 men with a winch gang, you know, Jimmy's late, come wait with Jimmy, you couldn't wait with Jimmy. If he ain't there, he ain't there. You better pick up another man. And Jimmy lost 10 days work perhaps. He'd gone on like a timber ship, say, a plank job, which is good work in the Surrey, good plank job, as opposed to strips. And, you know what I mean, you'd lose a week's work, or 10 days work. And so it was hard school, really. You know what I mean, it was hard. You had to be there. You know what I mean? Couldn't lay in bed and say, I'll get there like 10 o'clock.
That bus shelter seems to be quite significant in the history of the Surrey Docks.
Yeah, well, the Surrey Docks was older. The oldest dock in London was Holywell Dock. It's up by Plough Way. We're Plough Way. That's the first dock dug in London, the Holywell. About 1600 odd, you know what I mean? But then the Surrey Docks, I think, was the oldest dock, because they developed along Deptford and into then it worked up the Sheds, Thames, up the Butler's Wharf and up towards Tower Bridge. All that side was the first docks. Then I think they dug out the West India dock then. East India was dug out, then the Millwall, and the last dock was the Royal Group in Tilbury. But the oldest dock was the Surrey. There was all operating ships in there, sailing ships, you know what I mean, like 1800 and 304 or something, you know what I mean? What's this? That's all right, it's my reckless. 8 Series BMW, got no dosh.
Pleading property.
Pleading property, yeah. That was last 100 grand.
Because I don't know if you've been down, you know what they've done with the old bus shelter?
No, I'll go by it, Mike. I'll stop there for ages, like.
They've moved the bus shelter, no, well, say you're looking up as you suppose, it's on the left.
Yeah.
They've moved it, bit by bit, onto the right hand side, because they used that part for the Tesco.
Yeah.
But it's still there. That's how significant it was as a place that was part of the docks.
Protected building, see? The same as the Iron Lung at the Albert Dock. If you ever go down the Iron Lung, the Connaught Tavern at the Albert Dock, you've got what we call the Iron Lung. It was a piss hole. That's right. It was put there. There's photos of it in the 1889 Great Dock Strike. And it was built before then, so it's a protected building. You go in there like you know what I mean, you pass out like a piss in there. I'll carry blokes out there like in sacks, you know what I mean, covered in piss, you know what I mean, at times, right? But it's a recognised, they can't knock it down. And it's still, they've got the airport there, the Iron Lung's still there, can't knock it down. That's outside the Connaught Tavern, that's a protected building, you know, it comes under all this, you know what I mean, like it's part of the history of the place, like, you know, same as the bus shelters, you know what I mean? And so all them places will be protected, like, you know. And I think over Millwall, there's a site over there they can't touch. It's a bit of waste ground at the moment, there's a site over there they can't touch for some reason. Because historical, like, you know, somebody lived there, I think. It's all down there, but somebody lived there, I think. So there's sites in Dockland where they can't actually...
I've got an old photo of the bus shelter, and you can see it is the same. It's the same length, the same little jagged bits of wood where it's the car. It's good that they've kept it, I think.
Yeah.
Was you happy working in the docks?
Yeah, tremendously happy. Quality of people, mate. Quality of people. You know what I mean? People in the docks was well tried, and that's all that's one of it. Was well tried. You know what I mean? Like mates, like your Peter, Percy, God rest him, Dennis Scanlon, rely on them. 100% blokes. You know what I mean? Like up and up blokes, not like this. Like the crappy, I'll call them half men here, because they've got no belly and they don't talk up with each other. They fucking natter about, like, you know what I mean? Like these people outside. You know what I mean? The people I work with now, like, I don't know nothing to do with them really, because they're not quality people. Not like company I know. I was happy the docks, tremendously happy. Actually, my missus said to me, "You're funny, Mick. All the people, only people you like dock is the stevedores." I said, "Yeah, well, I've never been let down by them. Never been let down by a dock with a stevedore. I love. We're like brothers. You know that. I mean, Peter and Percy, Dennis. I mean, Jimmy Gibbons. He's over there, Gibbo. All these people go way back. Stood out in the picket line together. More or less start together, you know what I mean? Come out with a principle and stay there, like. Ain't gonna leg you over. Ain't gonna do you down. Ain't gonna talk behind your back. He's a genuine bloke.